let's see. All right, I'm going to do some questions here. Why don't I? From the Facebook page is in the order in which they come unto me. Okay, so Steve Darrow says the Joe Rogan Experience is among my favorite podcasts because each show feels that you're just a fly on the wall while two or more people have an in-depth conversation. I'm not sure how to get your people in touch with this episode, but it would be great exposure for you and the Apollo series, and it would be a good hook. I've had a lot of people talk about Joe Rogan, and I'd love to do the show. Some reason there's like some sort of, I don't know, I think I'm hitting the glass ceiling. I blame it on the patriarchy. But you know, what guys like Rogan are looking for is interesting conversations. It's just, can you keep it interesting and not have it be completely, a yelling match? And I think Rogan is great. He's enormous following. And by the way, the whole podcast thing, the first podcast I did was the Apollo 11 thing. And during that podcast, during the production of that, I realized I've spent 10 years not realizing that I'm in the wrong business. I'm not in the video business. I'm in the radio business. And nobody's watching the Stratosphere Lounge for the thrilling graphics. Well, I do. But other than that, no. So, I'd love to do something like that, and for those people who like that kind of interesting commentary, he's right. It's like you just happen to be in the room while people are talking. That's good interviewing, and good interviewing is stuff that gets away from the well-known things about a person and gets into the stuff that you don't know so much about with them. And I edited 4 episodes of William Shatner's Raw Nerve, where Shatner interviewed people. And one of those interviews was Kelsey Grammer. And Kelsey was talking about suicide in the family. And Shatner kept interrupting him. I was almost like tearing my hair out. It's like, let the man talk. For God's sakes, man. You know? This guy's bearing his heart to you. Just let him finish the sentence, would you please? So, anyway. I've never listened to Rogan, to be honest with you, but he's just everywhere, so I certainly know all about him. Hey, Jacob Belchak says, I love Dan Carlin's Hardcore History. He got a huge World War I series. I think it's like 20 hours plus, just wonderful. As it turns out, the entire Apollo 11, what we saw, idea was based on the success of Dan Carlin's Hardcore History. And I listened to just enough of it to get the flavor of what it is that they wanted. I should watch more of it. I'm sure it was terrific. But basically, that kind of thing, you know, you do 20 hours on World War I, and I listened to some of that. You've got to just I'm talking about from a producing point of view now, not from a listening point of view. What I learned from the Apollo thing and what I learned from listening to these podcasts is it actually doesn't matter really what you're talking about. What matters is, are you a good storyteller? Can you tell a story? And that's a 2-part thing. Can you tell the story in terms of write it, and can you deliver it? And if you can't deliver it, you get somebody else to deliver it. And so writing and delivering good stories is not just what we like to do, it's what we're built to do. This is our cognition. We learn from stories. This is not just a kind of a fun thing that we do. Storytelling is built into human intelligence. It is the foundation of human intelligence. Every single thing you've ever learned of any importance, you learned from a story. And so storytelling is actually a great skill. And that makes me realize something I haven't really ever put together before. I've had different angles on this thought before. But it's just now hit me really that, because I thought, okay, I'm a pretty good storyteller, but that still seems kind of trivial. Then I began to realize, no, wait a minute. If what you're saying about story is true, and it is, then really good storytelling is the best form of education. It's the best teaching you can do. everybody can relate to teachers they had that made a subject interesting. It's like, I hated history, and then I had this one history teacher, and then he made it interesting. Well, he made it interesting because he could tell a story, and if the guy's telling a good story about World War I, you'll not only watch 20 hours of it, you'll watch 200 hours or listen to 200 hours of it because it's the experience of it. That's why I like that Oculus Imperia so much, because it gives me a chance to listen to him while I'm driving. There's really just a couple of stills that he does, 2-minute pans on. It's all radio basically. But his voice and the writing and the voice is so good that I could just listen to it forever. Man, it's getting dark. It's getting dark earlier, folks. It's pretty much pitch black out there now, and it's 7:38 local time. So, yeah. I've heard great things about it, Jacob, and I want to see more if I can.